So, does a change in head coach bring brighter days in Carolina? Is Ron Rivera still kind of on the hot seat? And is Robert Saleh the epitome of insanity? We're going to see if we can try to answer those questions and many more as we get you ready for what hopefully will be a lucky week 13 in fantasy. And of course, week 13 in the NFL. We got you covered from top to bottom right here on Fantasy Football Fever, starting right now. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Fantasy Football Fever. It is Tuesday night, November 28th, 2023. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving weekend. I know I didn't quite start out a good weekend, but I'm okay. I got over it. I'm thankful. Hopefully y'all are too. It's me, Tim McClellan. It's this guy over here, John Flynn.
Hello,
It's this
guys. I'm a little different because I have the hoodie going for the hood, so little change
yeah.
in appearance, but I'll be normal soon. So trust me, guys.
All right. And of course, down here is our league commissioner, John Natale. And we have one of our fantasy players joining us first time in quite some time. My good buddy from down in San Antonio, Texas, Mr. Adam Oliver.
Hello.
Yeah, the last time you were on our podcast was draft night, so so
Yes.
it's yeah. What are you now? 6-6.
Yeah, I'm in a really tight. I'm a real tight battle,
Yeah.
and I think if I would beat Lucas and if Tim would lose, I would get back being the division leader with the tiebreaker, the head-to-head.
Yeah, we got tight races coming out. We got, of course, we got playoffs coming very soon. I think counting this week, there's this week and next week, right?
Correct.
Yep, this week and next week are the final two regular season games.
Yeah, and
Final
still,
two,
yeah,
final.
two slots have been sealed. One
Yep,
person has
it's
been
been locked.
eliminated.
Yep,
So we
this,
got these got 2 more weeks before those playoffs start. You know what I'm saying?
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
Yeah, because now 22 years since the infamous playoffs win. Because it was actually losing big time to the 49ers, gave Jim Moore two of his most famous fans because in '87 the Saints got crushed by the 49ers. At the time, the Saints were an up and coming team; they had never made the playoffs before, and they had Jim Moore as a head coach looking to change the culture and they had a could have, would have, should have, or lack thereof, and then that ran galvanized the locker room in New Orleans, and they went on to win 12 games, make the playoffs for the first time. Um, so that
Wow.
was really fun stuff right there. But yeah, and then of course it was Peyton Manning's Colts team that had one of the worst games of Peyton Manning's career. So came with the 49ers as the beneficiary with Steve Mariucci, the head coach of that 49ers team.
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, Flynn, what is actually the exact temperature where you are?
Yeah, so it's 31 degrees, and the wind chill is about 19.
Ooh,
oof.
oh,
Yeah,
that is
it's
bitter,
yes,
bitter cold.
yeah. So this is by far the coldest it's been since last winter.
Wow.
It's trending warmer. So I'm gonna start trending warmer starting on Thursday.
Yeah, it's supposed to get a little bit
So
warmer right now.
yeah,
Right now, it's like 43 degrees where I'm at. So
yeah,
hopefully everybody's bundled up.
which of course you've seen a lot worse.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Anyway, why don't we go ahead and get the ball rolling here? We are going to go ahead and take a look at last week's fantasy action. Let's go ahead and we'll get the screen share going right here. And we'll just go ahead and start off with should be popping up on the screen here.
So these are the Week
Yeah.
13 previews.
Oh, the week 13 previews. Oh, I am jumping the gun just a little bit. We just got to go back
Yeah,
to last week.
yeah, but it's nice knowing that two of you guys are going head to head. So that's a little spoiler alert.
Mm-hmm.
Little bit of a spoiler alert right there. Okay, so here we are. Here we are. Where we need to be. We're going to start with my matchup against our buddy Lucas, and I basically took the victory from Lucas here. Screen still running, trying to get the information up there. It was good to get back into the win column. I think I'd lost 3 matchups in a row before last week.
Yeah, and because of that, you're back in first place in the division.
Back in first place feels nice.
Yeah,
Oh, why is this thing?
and you can theoretically clinch a first round bye if you beat Natalie and Lucas beats Adam this week.
Wow. That is going to be something if I could get that here. Why is this thing not cooperating with me?
Yeah, but oh, while Tim is trying to set shop. How was your Thanksgiving, guys?
It was good.
Yeah.
Well, mine was not so good. I was on my way to Palestine, Texas, about 90 minutes away from where I live. And car started overheating. It was smoking really bad. I had to get out of the car, run for a few hundred feet, looked below, and fire caught on the
Oh, jeez.
Oh
yeah,
my
And
God.
when there's the
and
there's
the
the
motor, yeah, and the motor blew. So that car has now been permanently parked at that big garage in the sky. So, so for luckily, I was able to have someone offer me a ride back home. So, but I did spend Thanksgiving with my best friends. So at least that's not too bad, even though I wanted to spend it with my family. But anyway, we got the information up on the screen now. I took care of Lucas by a score of 158.5 to 116.68. I got some huge points. I was great to put Jalen Hurts back in the lineup after the bye week. 40.5 points. Got 25.
Yeah, 5 touchdowns, three passing and 2 rushing, including the game winner in overtime to beat Buffalo.
That still kind of grinds my gears a little bit. I got 25-9 from Isaiah Pacheco. 24 from Christian Watson, which is kind of a surprise. Great to put Sam Laporta back in my lineup. He got 17.7. Got 14-7 from A.J. Brown, 13-2 from Devin Singletary. Meanwhile, Lucas had Lamar Jackson giving him 16.98, Josh Jacobs at 22.5. Looking at some of the other numbers, Tank Dell from Houston got 17.2. And the Steelers defense special teams got him 14. Meanwhile, not much as far as the bench, except Jordan Love had 19.1 points, but hey, that's okay. I got Jalen Hurts, so that's all right. And Raheem Mostert left. No, wait a minute. That was his projection. Here. Actually, Jordan Love got 32.62, so he well went over his average there, or his projection.
Jordan Love was awesome on Thursday.
That was amazing. I mean, he's doing okay, but I gotta see more if I can definitely say he is the future of the Packers.
Yeah, I mean, he's exceeded everyone's fantasy expectations. Yeah, I mean, I would like, I mean, I can't say exceeded because he's had some pretty bad games. Because I think the Raider game where he threw 3 picks, the Minnesota game in Week 8 was pretty bad for Jordan Love. But yeah, you're right. I do have to agree with you, Tim. He needs to be more consistent and he's got a very tough test coming up because he's facing Steve Spagnuolo's Kansas City defense on Sunday night at Lambeau.
Notice Gabe Davis left me 22.5 points on the table, while Raheem Mostert left me 21.4. Over on Lucas's bench, 22-18 from Jared Goff. 16 even from the Falcons, 10.1 by Javonte Williams. And so basically I am now back in first place in my division. 7-5 my record. Lucas at 5-7, third place in the Beavis division. All right, let's go to Mr. Flynn's matchup with Mr. Oliver. 164.96 to 139.34. Flynn takes the victory there. Thanks to 26.56 points from Trevor Lawrence, 26.4 from Tyreek Hill,
Yeah.
20.7 from Michael Pittman Jr., 15-1 from Travis Kelce, kind of an average day there. Davante Smith, 24.6, not too shabby.
Yeah, I want to make a couple of comments about my wide receiver group this week. But first of all, I had all 3 of my wide receivers because I had Devontae Smith as my flex option. They all gave me over 20 points. Because again, one of the things I said on draft night was that I was pretty surprised that Michael Pittman Jr. stayed up on the board as long as he did. And so, like, I wasn't going to make the same mistake I did last year and pass up on a talented and underappreciated and underrated wide receiver in Pittman. So, in times where I needed to rely on something else at the wide receiver position, which I've used maybe as a flex option when you think about Devontae Smith and who has been a little bit downward, but I think Jalen Hurts getting the ball to Devontae Smith and not having to rely too much on AJ Brown was a really big reason why the Eagles were able to beat Kansas City and Buffalo, especially Buffalo because Devontae Smith had 24 points, but. So, that's the reason why I'm 10-2 because I've been able to hit on some of these late round draft picks like Michael Pittman Jr. and like James Cook, getting Travis Etienne who's been added the last couple weeks, but very happy with my performance and why I'm on the brink of getting the 1 seed in our league.
Adam got 40.24 points from Dak Prescott. Another big day for the Cowboys there. Got 17-4 from Garrett Wilson, 22-4 from DJ Moore, 17 from the Cowboys defense special teams, and not even from Brandon Aubrey. And Brandon Aubrey still has not missed one single field goal all
Yeah.
year.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
he's pretty. He made field goals, but he's like a little, and for the extra point, I kind of messing up a little for the extra points.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, checking out the bench players, Russell Wilson left 18.76 on the table for Flynn, 17-3 from Sam Howell, 14-1 from Drake London, and 10.3 from Jeff Wilson Jr. Meanwhile, Adam left 24.82 points on the table from Pat Mahomes. Stevenson from New England got 21.7. Jacoby Myers, who's been pretty steady player in fantasy so far, 20.1.
Do you find it weird that Jacoby Myers is not on the Patriots this year, guys?
Yeah, it's pretty strange, but yeah, how that worked out for them. They're one of the worst teams in the league now.
Yeah, and at some point, Jacoby Myers has been a better fantasy performer than Davante Adams on his home team.
Yeah, I think this makes me say now Belichick is probably the most overrated coach now.
So with that victory, John Flynn ups his record to 10-2, first place in the Butthead division. Adam is now at 500 at 6-6, second in the Beavis division. Now we're going to check out John Natale, who beat Alex Putnam, score of 180.44 to 149.96.
Most points in the league this week. Good job, Natalie.
Mm-hmm. And second time this season.
I score this season thanks to 22.44 points from the returning Kyler Murray and 30.9 points from Run CMC. Calvin Ridley got you 21.9. Zay Flowers, this rookie Zay Flowers, I'm really starting to like this guy. I'm starting to like him more and more and more.
I loved him in the draft process. Can't say I'm surprised. So what the Ravens did this offseason with the offense construction that they needed to bolster the receivers because they had been a weak point. So they signed Odell Beckham Jr., bring in Zay Flowers in the draft process, and that commitment to the wide receiver position is the reason that if the season ended today, which it doesn't, the Baltimore Ravens are the one seed in the AFC at 9-3.
He also got 27.3 points from Bijan Robinson. I think that's probably the highest.
He's back. He's so back.
He is finally arrived, I think. I'm so proud of that guy. Bijan Robinson from Texas.
Texas Longhorn.
Yep. Good to see they're making use of him. I guess Adam skipped out. Hopefully he'll be back soon. Anyway, 26 even points from the Dolphins.
Yeah, my little waiver wire ad.
There you go. Always check your waiver wires, players.
Yep.
Always check them. Meanwhile, Pizzle got 34.86 points from CJ Stroud in a losing effort, despite the fact, but still, CJ Stroud definitely a candidate for AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year. 22.3 points from Tony Pollard. I see 22.6 from Keenan Allen. 19.4 from Jalen Waddle. Seahawks defense special teams got 11 points. And Jason Sanders, the kicker for the Dolphins, with 13 points. Going down to the benches. Well, 22.4 points from Deebo Samuel. left on the bench for Natali. 10.58 from Justin Fields, 11.9 from Jerome Ford, 10.9 from Jordan Addison. Meanwhile, his opponent left 21 even from Pratt Fryermuth, 12.9 from Christian Kirk, 14.64 from Gardner Minshew, and 13 points from Rashad White among those bench players. So with that victory, Natalia is 8-4 now, second in the Butthead division. Alex is at 4-8 now, fourth place in the Beavis division. We now go to this matchup between Andrew and Dino. Andrew got this one 154.46 to 121.98. Andrew's big matchups, a huge 43.66 points from Josh Allen, despite the losing effort at the last second to Philly. Got 13 from Brandon Ayuk, 13 from Trey McBride. Chris Olave got 18.4. CJ Mosley at 14 even. Giants defense special teams at 17 even. Brandon McManus at 13 even. Meanwhile, Dino got 15.38 from Justin Herbert. Kind of an underachieving matchup for him. 21.1 from Jonathan Taylor, who, of course, now, as we pretty much know, is out for about a couple of weeks with a thumb injury.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we lost Flynn. I guess he's about to make his way back home and
Right.
get everything set up on his end.
Mm-hmm.
25 points from Mike Evans, not too bad. 20.6 from Derrick Henry, which is kind of a surprise there. Alex Singleton with 12 even. And looking down the bench, 38.4 from Kyron Williams, the running back for the Rams. Andrew missed out on those points, as well as 20.2 points from Chuba Hubbard. And 17 points from the 49ers defense and special teams. And Dino left 11.9 from David Njoku, which was actually his actual projection for this week. Got left 21 on the table from the Ravens, 23.4 from Nico Collins right there among those bench players. So Andrew now goes up to 5-7, fifth in the Butthead division. And Dino is at even record 6-6, third in the Butthead division. And finally, we got Casey against Dennis. Of course, the biggest win of the week. Casey really took down David 114.56 to 56.5. David. His only highlights was 18.5 from Amon-Ra St. Brown and 17.3 from CD Lamb. Left 10.2 on the table from Jahan Dotson, 15.9 from Alvin Kamara, 11.9 from Brees Hall. Meanwhile, KC got 12.46 from Brock Purdy. David Montgomery at 15.1. Stefon Diggs at 19.4. And then there's Olokun with 12 even right there. Packers defense, special teams got 18. 10 points from Tyler Bass. Meanwhile, Casey's bench, Najee Harris 15.9. Cole Kmet 11.3. 10 even from TJ Watt. And 16 from the Patriots defense and special teams right there. So we're now going to take a look at our current standings right now. If we get that information up there on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
This thing will cooperate with me. Yeah. Except eggnog, it's eggnog season for me again.
Oh yeah.
Not alcoholic, of course.
Hmm.
Yeah. So we got our standings right there. The Beavis division, I'm at the top with 7-5. Adams at 66. Lucas 5-7. Alex at 4-8. And unfortunately, David is now officially eliminated from playoff contention. But of course, he'll be going into the consolation bracket when the playoffs start. Um, we have in the Butthead division, we have Flynn and the Tally both clinching playoff spots right now. Dino is at 6-6, tied with Casey, and Andrew is at 5-7. Natalie's 8-4, and of course, Flynn still has the best record of all of us with a record of 10-2. So going down here overall, I'm back up to second place. After this week, I could take over the number 1 seed in the league. So that's basically how it looks. It's Flynn and myself, then it's Natalie, Dino, Adam, Casey, Lucas, Andrew, Alex, and David. So we're going to take a look at the scoreboard. We're going to take a look at the previews, previewing our matchups for week 13. And, well, I've got a matchup against you, Natalie.
Yeah, our rematch. Yeah, you beat me by I think just 1 point last time.
Yeah. Let's get this in here. Yeah, it was my phone. Oh, Flynn said his phone was about to die, so he'll be back, I guess, when he gets to his house.
Okay.
So no worries with that here. We're still waiting on still waiting for this darn thing to do its thing here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. It's getting in there right now. So right now, it'll be me against the tally. The tally will be right now is at 128.9. I'm at 121.4. Obviously, I got to keep Jalen Hurts in there. AJ Brown and Sam Laporte are probably my best players. Meanwhile, the tally still has Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, who is really coming back now, and Debo Samuel, Jerome Ford, Bobby Wagner, the Dolphins defense special teams, and Riley Patterson. Let's see who I've got on that bench. Maybe make some roster moves depending on the matchups. Looks like Dallas Goedert and Michael Parsons are both kind of questionable there, but I'm keeping with Sam Laporte. I mean, he is one of the best tight ends in the NFC right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. I got to shop a tight end. I got Hawkinson on the bye this week.
Oh, the Hawkinson. Okay, so yeah, you're gonna have to get him. Let's see. Do you have well, you don't have a tight end.
No, I traded my backup to Dino. I traded George Kittle for Debo Samuel.
Oh, okay. Oh boy.
Yeah. I basically have to go dumpster diving now for a tight end. Not many good options left, but we'll see how it goes.
I guess trying to look for some good tight ends right now at this part of the season is probably a little bit difficult.
Yep.
So I'm obviously going to have to. I'll make some changes on the lineup here. We got Andrew going up against Flynn.
Alex.
Or he's going against Alex. Yes, Andrew against Alex. Right now, Andrew has the edge 137.5 to 122.5. Alex still has Stroud, Pollard, Gibbs, Allen, and Jason Sanders, while Andrew still has Brandon Ayuk, and he's got McBride, Olave, Mosley, McManus, and the 49ers D special teams. Looking at bench players, Kyron Williams projected to go 16.4. Chuba Hubbard projected to go 11. Meanwhile, Alex projected Rashad White at 15.7. Marquise Brown 13.1, 13.5 from Christian Kirk, and 15.7 from Minshew Mania. But of course, I'd probably keep Stroud in the lineup if I was him. That's probably what he'll do, maybe. So, now going to Lucas. He's going up against Adam.
Let's see.
Lucas' projected total right now is 130.8. Adam's at 115.7. And I think
Flynn said he's ready.
Flynn's back in. He is in his home studio right now.
Yes. After the long check home, I'm back in. So I see we're talking matchups here for next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are. We're taking
Yeah,
a look.
you didn't miss much.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just looking down the lineup for Lucas against Adam. Adam still has Prescott, Mixon, Stevenson, Taysom Hill, and Brandon Aubrey, of course. Still have missed a field goal. And Lucas still going to have Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf. Take Dill's Air Franklin, the Falcons D special teams.
Yeah, and Adam's going to have to make a couple of changes of his own.
Oh, yes, because he's going to have DJ Moore and TJ Edwards both on the bye week. Those a wide receiver and a defensive player. So he's and Jacoby Myers he's going to be on the bye as well. So just have to see about that here. See how that works out between them two. Then we got Flynn. You're going up against David, and
yes, sir.
Unless David can pull off a miracle, well, I guess you'll still have Lawrence, Etienne, Hill, Kelsey, Browns defense special teams, Evan McPherson, and looks like he's got a couple of players on the bye. Of course, yeah, both of y'all have a couple of starters on the bye, so so of course adjustments will be made. Of course, looking at the bench players, Russell Wilson projected to go 20.1, Sam Howell 19 even. Jake Ferguson against Seattle, and you got Travis Kelce against Green Bay. As much as I love Ferguson, I would stick with Kelce. That's what I would do if I had Kelce on my team. So Justin Jefferson and Shaquille Leonard is going on the bye. So, but Shaquille Leonard is a free agent, and I heard he went to Dallas earlier today. But then I heard that tomorrow he's going to Philly. I'll tell you what, if he signs with those chickens, oh my God. That's going to be another good one that Jerry passed up. But Cowboys do have some good linebackers, even though they're slightly hurt, and we could use a lot of help in that particular position there. So that's how that matchup goes. And finally, we'll have Dino against Casey. Oh, look at that. Ace is wild right here. 111.1 to 97.6. Dino with the early advantage right there.
Yeah, they're both 6-6. This is going to be interesting.
Yep, both 6-6, and Casey has Brock Purdy, Austin Eckler, David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift. First side, I can't try to say that anymore. Packers, defense, special teams against the KC offense. Not sure about that. Got an empty spot right here for a Dino, so hopefully he can fill that spot there. Maybe with one of his bench players. Got the bottle of Chardonnay, or maybe Adam hooked on a Thielen. Ooga shaka, ooga,
Ooga
ooga,
chaka.
ooga, shaka, ooga, ooga. Uh-oh. There he is.
Here we are.
I guess we had a little technical difficulty there, I guess.
Yes.
So so that's basically how our that's our matchups for this coming week. So only 2 weeks left in our season before the playoffs start.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess right now we have got a good bit of hot topics to talk about. We are going to start, of course, with probably the biggest news of the week so far. And that, of course, is the Carolina Panthers firing their head coach, Frank Reich. So I guess the Reich experiment was a failure, just to say the least.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it felt like Frank Reich was set up for failure all along by David Tepper and the front office in a way because if you look at the Panthers roster, it was pretty bad. A lot of weaknesses that weren't addressed, and now you're going to people are starting to look at David Tepper, the owner, as one of the worst owners in all of sports now, because I think that's a big revelation that's been a big takeaway that's been coming out of this, just to think, because I saw this tweet from Jack Kennedy on Twitter, not the Jack Kennedy you remember, but there was some insane moments in the with the Panthers that just never made sense because they drafted they used a because here's a list that he compiled because he spent a third round pick on Will Greer, signed Teddy Bridgewater to $33 million of guaranteed money. They cut Cam Newton. They traded a second, fourth, and sixth round pick for Sam Darnold. They traded Teddy Bridgewater for a sixth round pick. They picked up Sam Darnold's option of $18.8 million. They re-signed Cam Newton. They spent a third round pick on Matt Corral. They traded for Baker Mayfield. They cut Baker Mayfield. Yeah, they cut Cam Newton. They drafted Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud, and they fired Frank Reich after 11 games. So if that's not mismanagement over a 5 year span, I don't know what is. But but now you're going to look at this Panthers coaching vacancy as, let's face it, maybe the one of the least attractive head coaching openings for any team for any year that I have ever seen. Like, so if you're a Lions offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, are you taking the Panthers job? If you're a hot assistant in this league, do you want the Panthers job? Do you want to be part of an ownership group that meddles with football operations? Because that's the point where we're at with this Carolina Panthers organization.
Yeah, so crazy goes right. And speaking of crazy, I want to bring this up. Of course, during the intro, I asked the question, is Robert Saleh the epitome of insanity? I mean, he benches his quarterback not once, but twice, back-to-back games. That's that sounds like insanity to me.
Indeed.
So if you look at how Zach Wilson has been playing, all Zach Wilson had to do last year was be a bad quarterback, not a horrible quarterback, for his team to make the playoffs. And there were portions in games this year, like the New England game, like Zach Wilson. He beat the only quarterback to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, but one of two quarterbacks to lose to Mac Jones and the Patriots, or Bailey Zappi and the Patriots, and or whatever two quarterback system that Bill Belichick is trying to. We're going they were going to beat the Patriots on Sunday, but uh, let's face it, Zach Wilson should have been taken with a second overall, and 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 the Jets are in the mess they are right now because they picked the wrong quarterback in the draft process. And look, and they had options available like Justin Fields, and because at this point of the draft process 3 years ago, we were looking at Trevor Lawrence clearly being the number one quarterback in his draft class, and Justin Fields being number two. Now, Justin Fields has to be a lot more consistent for to show the Bears organization that he could be a franchise quarterback, if he's especially when you look at how that game transpired, the Bears Vikings game transpired last night. But but yeah, Zach Wilson was terrible, and he should be blamed for some of the team's success. And so, but the thing is, Tim Boyle was just as bad, and now and it took to this point for Jets fans to finally see what I've been seeing all along, that the two things that were going to hold the Jets back at the end of the day, no matter regardless of the personnel of the quarterback, was Robert Saleh not coaching his way out of the paper bag, and number two, the offensive line was horrendous, and Joe Douglas, who let's face it, Joe built a magnificent defense. I thought he had an outstanding draft last year. He brought in Garrett Wilson, but he's whiffed on the offensive line, and he was completely outmaneuvered by Bill Belichick and the Steelers because they had the perfect offensive line prospect available to protect Aaron Rodgers, and they did not draft him. They weren't able to draft him because the Steelers traded up in front of the Jets to draft their O line prospect that they were targeting, and they didn't make sure to do whatever it took to get protect from Aaron Rodgers, and here we are, and well, who I think is a really good talent evaluator is probably going to get fired at the end of the year because he whiffed on the quarterback, and he did do the requisite jockeying to get the pieces he needed for the Jets to be a Super Bowl contender. I predict Joe Douglas. First of all, I definitely think Saleh is going to get fired because in this league, it is really hard to survive. When you go through, in this league now, where you miss the playoffs in 3 consecutive seasons, and that's what the Jets are Robert Saleh are on the verge of doing at this pace. So that
Right.
disaster. And I think the other thing too was I think two things really stood out to me in the Jets the debacle on Friday against Miami on Black Friday because the Tim Boyle's Hail Mary interception return for a touchdown, which in my opinion was one of the biggest OMG moments of the entire NFL season. because there was like there was no effort by any Jets player to make any sort of legit tackle on the interception return. It made it look so easy, and also all the penalties against the Jets in timely situations, which when the Jets had opportunities to get Tua Tagovailoa off the field, that they kept him on, and the Dolphins proceeded to run the football with Raheem Mostert and all that. But that was complete a total mess for the Jets, and they just don't have it. And Aaron Rodgers should just mail it in with his comeback attempt for the season, and just focus on next season because this team, the Jets are rudderless, they're clueless, and it just stinks right now to be a fan of the Jets. By the way, the Jets have the longest playoff drought of any North American sports franchise of the
2010.
2010.
100 points.
All those years. Terrible. So
Yeah,
so I guess
and I mean and go on.
I was just about to say, it looks like we're going back to saying that JETS means just end the season.
Mm-hmm.
So we mentioned earlier Jonathan Taylor, who just came back to the Colts lineup about a couple weeks ago. Now it's got an issue with his thumb.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I think because I believe he underwent yeah, I think he underwent thumb surgery today. I don't know if I don't know if he was able did it today, or if it's going to be tomorrow, but he's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. As I think he's scheduled to undergo surgery sometime soon. So he's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks, and for fantasy purposes, that's a monster deal if you are a Jonathan Taylor fantasy owner, because granted you had bad luck at the start of the season because he missed the first 4 games of the season because of the contract dispute between with the Jets, with the Indianapolis Colts, and the way the Colts handled it made absolutely no sense to me, and he is for granted he is a running back you should pay for, and why it took so long, who knows, but he had one of his best games of the season, in my opinion, on Sunday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He had 91 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, well over 20 fantasy points, and now a thumb injury, and he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. I mean, it just sucks if you are if you're on the fringe of the playoffs, and you have Jonathan, and you're a Jonathan Taylor fantasy owner, and the running back position takes a big hit. Yeah, but that really sucks for them. But if you are a Zach Moss fantasy owner, I think this is it is an excellent opportunity to ride him to the playoffs, and maybe in the first round of your fantasy playoffs. So it's a golden opportunity for those owners. But it does ring home a big theme in fantasy football, is that you can't have you can never have too much in the running back position, because especially in a league where running backs aren't getting paid as much as they used to, in terms of weights, in terms of weight allotment on a salary cap basis in the NFL. So that sucks, but it scores home as how the teams with multiple quality running backs are the ones that survive and go to and win championships.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. Absolutely true there. So if you got an opportunity to take Zach Moss, snatch him up as quickly as you can. And I guess that would probably be a
Yeah.
good.
So because he's gonna get a.
Yeah.
Is what you guys who has
I think that Andrew has Moss.
league?
I will check the. Let me check. Make sure, double check to see who has Zach Moss
Yeah, I'm
on.
pretty sure it's Andrew.
Okay, let's.
Yeah, yes, it is Andrew.
It is
So
Andrew.
so that's so that's a really big boost for Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, go ahead and hold on to Moss for a while until Taylor recovers. And that sounds right there. That could be a. It sounds like a great segue into what we're going to be talking about now. We're going to be talking about stardoms and situms, and
Yeah,
and
and we all and I think we have a couple of other topics to get into before we get into
oh,
stardoms and situms, Tim,
oh
that we
by
haven't discussed yet.
by all means, go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, so you can put that hot topics
Okay.
back on because we're not done yet. So Kyle Williams came back on Sunday with a vengeance because about 37-14 victory over the Arizona Cardinals. And I think it's real, and one of the most underrated stories in all of fantasy, and really in the entire league this year is that the Rams have by all accounts overperformed. And Kyle Williams, of course, so who I loved out of Notre Dame, as a player there and in the draft process, and the Rams, I believe hit a home run with this guy. So he had 143 yards rushing, six receptions, 61 yards, two receiving touchdowns. Yeah, his by far his best game as a pro, 38.4 points. And now you're gonna and this was a running back who was consistent in giving you big time performances at the start of the season. Because he had three games before he got hurt where he scored over 21 points in fantasy, and now here come the Rams at 5-6, and knowing that Minnesota lost last night, they're at 6-6. Green Bay 5-6. Seattle 6-5. They've got Dallas, San Francisco, and Philadelphia coming up each of the next 3 weeks. So there is a real opportunity for this LA Rams team to, let's face it, make the playoffs.
Wow.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and one more topic that I wanted to discuss is that Justin Jefferson did not play on Monday night against Chicago, which was pretty predictable after he did not play in the Denver game last Sunday night. Knowing where the Vikings stand, they're 6 they have 2 weeks to get ready for the Raiders, so the team they'll face coming out of the bye week. The game is in Vegas, and Justin Jefferson is likely going to come back. And so is this the time where Justin Jefferson is the guy you're going to be relying on to be great the rest of the way?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, that was such a hard game to watch though last night with Joshua Dobbs, 4 interceptions, and the Bears being the first team to win a game this season, despite scoring the not touchdown.
Well, I see that his laptop is working again, so I guess we can cut him and we can bring him in from from the laptop here.
Yeah.
There is a better view right there. Oh, gotta get his
We got
headset on.
headphones on.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and so that was a pretty good right there. So that's a tremendous job by the Vikings, who are 6-6 and can absolutely play their way into the postseason.
Yeah, they probably could. Maybe get either 5, 6, or 7 because, of course, the Lions are going to be probably most likely winning that division.
Yeah, and we figured that the two teams are going to split their are going to split their season series. So
Yeah, I think we talked about that during our divisional previews back during this past summer. So are we ready to start or sit?
yeah, I think I'm ready. Give me a minute to get some of my information ready that to back up what I'm about to say, and then we'll be able to do that. So
Okay, well, I guess before we do that,
oh yeah, that's right.
we
You
could do Tim's Tough Trivia.
All right, let's hear this.
All right, I've got another good one for you guys. And for all of you out there, get your thinking caps on because I've got a good question for you this week. Okay, here we go. As we all know, this past Thanksgiving, the guy who I think is now the front runner for NFC Defensive Player of the Year, that would be Deron Bland from the Cowboys. Of course, we know he now has 5 pick sixes so far this year, which is an NFL record for most in season. And now he's got 7 interceptions total, but 5 of them have been taken back to the house. So the question is for this week, who holds the NFL record for most career pick sixes? Who holds the record for the most career pick sixes? That is something to think about.
Yeah, I have a name. It's on the tip of my tongue. I just can't quite pull it out yet. But I'll think about it.
All right. I know Flynn's got his mind working. So y'all think about the answer to that one. And while y'all thinking about that, we're going to give y'all some tips and pointers to help boost your fantasy teams for the playoff run. So I'm going to go ahead and give the floor over to Mr. Flynn because he's got stardoms and situms for this week. So, Flynn, it's all you, brother.
Alrighty, everybody. So we're gonna do the stardoms and situms for week number 13 of the National Football League, and I'm gonna give you one for each of the positions as we usually do at times. So my starting quarterback in fantasy football that this weekend is my guy Tua Tagovailoa of the Miami Dolphins. So look. Miami's going up against Washington, the team that just fired their defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio after yet another embarrassing defensive performance. And Washington's been historically bad. They have the worst secondary in the NFL, and they've already had three. They've already had 3 games this year where they've given up 4 touchdowns. They gave up 331 yards and 4 touchdowns to Dak Prescott last week. And I definitely think that it's going to be a bounce back performance, in my opinion, for this Miami Dolphins offense. That could definitely use some after last week, where where you had where you had bad things happen. So so I definitely think my guy Tua Tagovailoa is definitely when you look at these numbers, is the guy you definitely want to start for this upcoming week at the quarterback position. My starting running back for this week is Tony Pollard of the Dallas Cowboys, because Tony Pollard is much more involved in the running attack these days, which I could definitely appreciate, because at each of his last 2 games he scored at least 18 fantasy points. And this weekend he's going up against Seattle on Thursday night, and Seattle has given up a combined 35 plus fantasy points each of the last 3 weeks to the to opposing running backs, including 35.5 last week on Thanksgiving to Christian McCaffrey and the San Francisco 49ers. The 2 touchdown runs. It's been rough for the Seahawks rush defense, which has been a big reason why the Seahawks have floundered over the last couple of weeks. My starting wide receiver for this week I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm going to go with Adam Thielen of the Carolina Panthers, and it's a matchup where the first game for the Panthers after they fire fire Frank Reich. I think that there's definitely some juice going around the organization, and it's going up against a Bucks team that has been torched by opposing wide receivers over this whole season, but especially since their bye week, because they've had some rough goes at it against Detroit, against Buffalo, and against Houston. All those games, the wide receivers just simply torched them, and they just simply had their way with those guys. So Adam Thielen against that Buck secondary, which has been very shaky. I don't know if Carolina is going to get their second win of the season on Sunday, because I really like the job Baker Mayfield has done, but most especially in my mind when you're looking at when you're looking at wide receivers to start. Oh, and also, by the way, Adam Thielen is the 11th ranked wide receiver in fantasy throughout the season. So that's a plus there. My starting tight end in fantasy this week is Evan Ingram of the Jacksonville Jaguars, going up against the Cincinnati Bengals, because again, it's a favorable matchup for Evan Ingram, because I think he's due for a bounce back, because he hasn't had a double-digit performance in fantasy over since Jacksonville's bye week, but he's got a perfect opponent to do that against Cincinnati, because the Bengals gave up a lot of points to Pat Freiermuth and the Steelers last week, 26.1 total, including 21 alone to Pat Freiermuth, who had 9 catches and 120 yards receiving. So that was 21 points of their own, but the Bengals have given up a lot of points to tight ends, which is a reflection of how they're letting tight ends open, get an open field there. In terms of the defenses to start, I'm starting the Atlanta Falcons defense / special teams going up against the Jets, because the Jets have been so dreadful. They've been so butterless. They've been so bad. I mean, the pick 6 at the end of the first half of the Miami game was definitely gruesome, and here's a good news for this, because the Falcons defense is owned by just 16.5% of leagues on ESPN. So that very much means that that if you are in need of a defense / special teams to produce, say if you have the Ravens defense on bye this week, if you have Buffalo's defense on bye, if you rode the Giants and their 9 turnovers over the last couple of weeks, so they're chance are you might have drank the Kool-Aid on them after seeing what they've been able to do. So the Falcons defense is definitely not only do you have to pick them up, definitely worth a start too, because I think the Falcons defensively are underrated. And I think Jesse Bates returning that interception for a touchdown was a big key to the Falcons being able to put away the division rival New Orleans Saints. So that's a win there. And then my starting kicker this week is Matt Gay of the Indianapolis Colts, because the Titans have given up at least 8 points to a kicker in 6 of the last 7 weeks that the Colts that the Titans have played. I definitely think this is going to be a tight game, which is going to require field goals to win. So I like his. I definitely like his matchup there. My sit-em of the week is Kyler Murray at the quarterback position. Kyler Murray of the Arizona Cardinals going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have given up the 6th fewest points per game to opposing quarterbacks, and only once this entire season has an opposing quarterback had a 20+ point performance against this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. So Kyler Murray, who has been pretty good since coming off the injured list, that definitely not a good matchup for him, and definitely don't like his chances on Sunday against the Steelers. My running back sit of the week is the rookie Zach Charbonnet of the Seattle Seahawks going up against Dallas on Sunday, on Thursday night, excuse me, because the Cowboys have been stiff against Seattle's running backs this year, and they've allowed fewer than 20 points to the team running back position over the last each of the last 4 weeks, which includes only 11 points combined to all Giants running backs, and 14.7 to Carolina, and 17.2 to Washington last week. So I don't like Charbonnet's matchup, and know he might be getting the bulk of the carries this week because of the health or lack thereof of Kenneth Walker. But I definitely want to stay away from Zach Charbonnet, and we talked about this about this guy earlier tonight, and with in terms of the wide receiver position and the surprises there. But Christian Watson of the Packers is my sit-in wide receiver of the week, as he's going up against a talented Kansas City defense, which has been terrific against the opposition to start. I mean, Christian Watson on ESPN for a PPR is only projected at 10.6 points on the weekend for the weekend. Now, the Chiefs did give up a bunch to the Raiders, and we talked about Jacoby Myers earlier. So, but I definitely think it's a change. I definitely don't think it's going to be that much of that big of a layoff to the high, meaning that won't be allowing as many points to wide receivers as they will this week. But they were really strong against Philadelphia because of course they held AJ Brown to 1 catch for 8 yards on that Monday night game a couple weeks ago. So that's definitely something to monitor there. I also have a second wide receiver sit on this week because I think the numbers are too good to not mention now. Last week, that the Jets gave up a combined 44.8 points to wide receivers, which was their season high. So, but if you look at how many times the Jets have given up 30 more points to a combined wide receiving core, that they've only done that 4 times all year. and the rest have been pretty darn good. So you have the Jets as a bad matchup for Drake London there, and so now let's go to the tight end position as a sit and look, this was a guy who broke out in a big way last week because he had two he had 2 touchdown receptions last week, 5 catches for 29 yards, but Tyler Higbee is definitely a tight end you want to sit this week. You definitely don't want to drink the Kool-Aid on him too much. But he's going up against the Cleveland Browns defense, which is giving up a combined 10 points or more to wide receiver tight ends in a single week just once. Only once this entire season have the Browns given up more than 10 points to tight ends, and that tight end, you might ask, was Mark Andrews in week 4, and where the Ravens blew out the Browns 28-3 because they only allowed 1 catch against the Broncos tight end last week. So it's a very bad matchup for Tyler Higbee. In terms of a defense/special teams stud to sit, it's definitely the Philadelphia Eagles defense against the 49ers because the Eagles have been gashed for much of the season. You could definitely look at Buffalo as the Buffalo game as an example where Josh Allen was able to breeze by. To breeze by, but this San Francisco offense it has been torching defenses all year, and they were just terrific all season long, and these receivers, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, against this Eagles secondary, which has been suspect all year. I don't like that matchup at all. But and conversely, we'll stay with this game for my sit-em kicker of the week in Jake Moody. Now, Jake Moody, according to ESPN, has the 3rd highest projection among fantasy kickers in fantasy this week. But I got to tell you, his matchup against the Eagles, I feel like it's going to be the type of game where the Eagles are going to concede many touchdowns. So I think it's going to be a game where the 49ers are going to have to score touchdowns to win, and that was it's something to monitor there. So those are my startups and sit-ems for the week.
Well, there you go, folks. Just a little bit of information there for you to help you out with your fantasy leagues because, the playoffs are going to be starting soon. I know all of you are going to be making the right roster moves. I know you're trying to get into those playoff races. So good luck with that.
Yeah,
good luck getting those. Yep.
Yeah, most definitely. So I believe it's now time to unveil our picks for the week.
I think before we do that, Tim, you got to introduce your show that you're on every Wednesday.
Yeah, we got to give some love to these guys. So y'all stick around. We'll be right back in just a little bit.
With some fellas who know football. Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pistol 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the 4 Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube.
Yeah, that's right, folks. Check out Epistle 90's channel for the 4 Horsemen of Pick'ems tomorrow night, 10 Eastern, 9 Central. Of course, I will be there, and Alex and Lucas will be there. So give you our picks from our vantage point. It is now time to go ahead and go with our picks against the spread this week. So just to recap last week here. Last week, Flynn and Tally went 12 and both went 12-4 straight up. I went 11-5 straight up. Flynn went 11-5 against the spread. I went 10-6, and I went 11-5 as well. So after 12 weeks of making picks, our straight up leader, of course, is myself. I'm only like one game ahead of Flynn right now. 114-66. Flynn has 113-67. The tally is 111-69. And for the season against the spread, I am ahead at 98-80-2, while Flynn and the tally are tied at 93-85-2.
It's the tally has 95-83-2 because the tally is 2 games ahead of me.
95. Oh yeah, I read that wrong. Yeah. So I'm 3 games ahead of the tally right there. The tally is 2 ahead of Flynn. So as we go into week 13, we do have 6 teams that are on the bye this week. See right there on the bottom of the screen, the New York Giants, Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills, Chicago Bears, Las Vegas Raiders, and the Minnesota Vikings. So, of course, you know what that means, players. It means you got to bench or drop any players that you have who play for those teams because they will not do you any good this week.
See how, for example, Saquon Barkley, Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, Gus Edwards, Josh Allen, Stefon Diggs, Davante Adams, Jacoby Myers, Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson is going to be back, most likely next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but at least we won't see Josh Allen throw an interception this week, so we ain't got to worry about that.
Or Sean McDermott screw up in-game management.
Exactly. So let's begin right up here with the Thursday night matchup, which is the Seattle Seahawks and the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium. Dallas is picked by 9. And all 3 of us are picking the Cowboys to win and cover. That looks like a pretty safe bet right there.
Yeah, I mean the way Seattle's been playing this week, over the last month, they have not resembled a playoff team whatsoever.
Terrible. Then we got the Broncos at the Texans. Texans are 3.5 point favorites. Natalie is going with the Texans, but it looks like Flynn and I are going to be sounding the alarm, are we?
Oh yeah, I'm going to sound it off right now.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that was me who played it.
There you go. I mean,
that was a tough one for me. I just couldn't quite do it. I think the Broncos streak ends here. I think C.J. Stroud is just too good. I think that offense is going to be too much for their defense.
I picked the Broncos because I think they have the better coach and the better defense. Because the way the Broncos defense has been playing, they've just been terrific, and they were dominant on Sunday, and I think that's an underrated storyline that was kind of lost to the shuffle. But the Broncos are playing as well as anybody, and the Texans do have some issues, and I think eventually when and no CJ Stroud has been terrific, but I think he's bound to regress a little bit So I think teams are starting to figure out how to stop this offense. So that's why in a tough one, and you know how much I love D'Amico Ryans for Coach of the Year, how much I love CJ Stroud for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I thought they were the perfect picks at the right time. So that's where I stand on that.
All right. Before we move on to the next game, I got a question about the first game. So Seattle and Cowboys. Do I hear 6 pick sixes? Do I hear 6?
I mean that Seahawks that Cowboys D line against Seattle's offensive line. I just don't particularly view that as a fair fight, though.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe another pick 6 for Deron Bland. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, we go now to New England. The Patriots will be hosting the Chargers, and the Chargers are picked by 6. We're all in agreement. We're all in agreement with the Chargers winning. However, Natalia is actually taking the Patriots with the points.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was my runner-up candidate for the garbage game of the week. I just see this being a low-scoring game for some reason.
Yeah, but for me, it's I mean the 2 quarterback system it's just so asinine because you know what they say, when you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterback. So
right.
And so this Chargers talented offense go up against the Patriots defense that was pushed around at times this weekend by the Giants. Yeah, not only the Chargers winning this game, I have them as my lock of the week.
Really?
Yeah. The largest margin of victory from anybody, in my view.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Kind of a kinky pick right there for your lock there. Interesting. Yeah. Well, anyway, we're going now to New Orleans. It's the Detroit Lions against New Orleans Saints. The Lions coming in at 4.5-point favorites. Natalia and I are taking the Lions to win, but Flynn is taking the Lions to win, but the Saints to cover.
Yeah, I feel like
it was tempted, but I couldn't do it because I think both Olave and Rashid Shaheed, I think could both be out. There'll be some weapons they'll be without.
Yeah, but
making the win far easier.
Yeah, but I feel like this is a game that's gonna come down to a winning to the end with the field goal. So yeah, I have a bunch of games this week that I have coming down to the final minutes.
All right. We have the Falcons going into New York to take on the Jets. Falcons coming at 2.5-point favorites. And of course, I made my promise last week that I was never going to pick the Jets again. So that starts this week. We have all taken the Falcons to win and cover this one.
Yeah, and for me, this is my garbage game of the week.
Yeah. Tim and I's is coming up very shortly.
I know which
we have the same one.
All right, so we have the Cardinals and the Steelers. We're all taking the Steelers for the win. Looks like Natalia and Flynn is actually taking the Cardinals to cover on this one.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very defensive game. Neither offense is practically strong.
So this feels like a trap game to me.
Oh, did he just say trap? Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh well, we'll just see what happens there. Colts are 1.5-point favorites going into Tennessee to take on the Titans. We are all in agreement for the Colts to win and cover on that one.
Yep.
We are Oh yes, yes. Me and Natalie, we have the Colts and the Titans as our garbage game of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, two teams in the AFC South just going nowhere. We have a slightly better matchup with the Miami Dolphins and the Washington Commanders. We're all taking the Dolphins to win and cover.
And with that is my lock of the week.
He's locking the Dolphins.
Yeah, and I have the highest margin, highest point total, 45-31 is my pick.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, Tim and I have the same exact score of this game.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Oh, I forgot to give my lock. I decided to lock the Falcons this week.
Oh.
Sorry about that. Anyway, moving right along here, we got a NFC South matchup as the Panthers going to Tampa Bay to take on the Bucks. We all agree the Bucks win. Flynn is the only one who is actually taking the Panthers with the points.
Yeah, that was a tough game to pick with the points because it's a division game. Tampa's really underperformed, but I said, but listen again. This could be a game that Bucks can easily win by double digits because again, like I said last week, which proved to be true. Tampa's been one team I've not had a really good read on all year. So, because there are things to like about Tampa. Because I think Baker Mayfield has played hard, and I think he's been an interesting story in Tampa, but just the amount of offense that's been limited, and of course the succession after Brady was basically impossible to replace. I mean, take a look at New England and their quarterback situation, and at what it's been since Brady left there. So,
all right. We have the Rams and the Browns. Rams are 3.5-point favorites, and we are all taking the Rams to win and cover on that one. Next three games, probably the most interesting ones. We have one, probably the game of the week.
One of the games of the year, one of the most anticipated games of the season when the schedule came out back in May.
Oh, yeah. 49ers at the Eagles. 49ers will go into the Link, of course, Lincoln Financial Field, as 3-point favorites. This is probably the most interesting pick I think we've seen this whole season. Natalie and I, we're taking the 49ers for the win, but we're taking the Eagles for the points. However, Flynn is taking the Eagles for the win, but he's taking the 49ers for the points.
So the Eagles are the underdog. So since the Eagles are 3-point underdogs, I'm laying them as the underdog. So I'm picking the Eagles to win this game outright and cover.
Oh, Eagles to win outright and cover. Okay, I got you. So.
Yeah, but see, this was the toughest game of the week for me to pick. But see, and I think this boiled down to this, and I think and this is what I took away from the Eagles' victory over the Bills, and the I think the Eagles are the smartest, they are the calmest, and they are mentally the toughest team in the entire league. So, because they're on a stretch of 5 games against against teams we all thought would be in the Super Bowl conversation before the season started. All teams that were in my conference championship game matchups for the start of the season. When you look at Dallas, Kansas City, Buffalo, San Francisco, and this was all three of those games. Mind you, I thought there was a majority of the game where the Eagles were outplayed, but they found a way to win because they know what it takes to win. and it's the first team of the Super Bowl era to lose the Super Bowl one year and start the following year 10-1.
Oh.
Because the Eagles are prepared, they are tough, and I just think the amazing culture in Philadelphia. And mind you, this was a situation where I picked San Francisco to go to the Super Bowl this year, and San Francisco's been dominant. So, but I think the game being in Philly is a monster deal because the fans are going to go crazy. They've been said that they've been foaming at the mouth about the 49ers and the comments that have been made about that thinking that the Niners would have won the game if Brock Purdy didn't get hurt so early on in the NFC Championship game. And this Eagles team is just 2 steps ahead of everybody when it comes to intelligence. And mind you, also it was a game though where Lane Johnson did not play, and Jalen Hurts looked awful in the first half, but that was on Lane Johnson. But his ability to adjust in the second half of games is just unbelievable. So that's why I'm taking the Eagles, and I'm surprised by this too. About this Eagles 49ers pick, but I think the Eagles are right now number 1 on my power rankings in the NFL.
All right. Well, really something to chew on right there. Something to really think about when it comes to those Eagles and the way they've been doing this year. That's definitely going to be one. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a fight breaks out before the game with all the talk that's been going on.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised on that either.
Another pretty good game over in Green Bay. The Packers going to be hosting the world champion Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs come in at 6.5-point favorites. We're all taking the Chiefs to win, but I am actually taking the Packers to cover. My reasoning is Jordan Love had a pretty good, decent showing last week. I think they might keep it close here, but in the end, it's just going to be just a little too much. Chiefs will take this one on the road. I'm taking the Chiefs for the win, but I'm taking the Packers for the points. And the Monday night game, Bengals at Jaguars. Jacksonville is 7.5-point favorites. We're all taking the Jaguars to win. Flynn and myself are taking the Bengals with points, right?
Yeah. To 20. Yeah, but that's because similar to my thought process with the Pittsburgh Arizona game, because this feels like a trap game too. Because the Jaguars are coming off back-to-back wins in the division. They beat Tennessee week 11. They came from behind to beat the Texans last week. But I think this is a matter of them being comfortable and coming out flat to start in the first half of that game.
Yeah, I think if Burrow were playing, I think I would have taken the points, but I think without him, that's a completely different team.
So if Burrow was playing this game, I still would have taken the Jaguars.
No, that's what I'm saying. I would have taken the Bengals with the points if Burrow were playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for that reason alone, I have to take the Jaguars to win and cover.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm surprised we're in agreement on just about everything this week, as far as pick wise, at least.
Yeah, but
we only split on two games. That's it.
Yeah, in terms of the spreads, though, Natalia and I are split 5 times.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was really hoping and had Zay Flowers not run for that touchdown at the end of the Baltimore game, I would have finally caught up to the tally with the spreads, but it didn't turn out to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got some very interesting matchups coming up this week. So It's time to find out if you guys have figured out an answer to this week's Tim Stuff Trivia. Once again, of course, the subject is pick sixes. Of course, Deron Bland now has the NFL record for most pick sixes in a season with 5. Tonight's question is, who holds the record for most career pick sixes?
Yeah, actually, I mean, I have an idea. I was thinking about a guy who intercepts the ball a lot. He played on both the Patriots and the Eagles. I remember him being an interception machine. I just don't recall if he did a ton of pick sixes. I'm going with Asante Samuel.
Asante Samuel.
Yeah, there were three players in my consideration for this. Because I'm thinking more of longevity of a career. So I was looking at Darrell Green. I was looking at Rondé Barber. I was looking at Charles Woodson. But I think given Charles Woodson's longevity and given how dominant he was at times, I'm gonna go with Charles Woodson.
Okay. Right now, Natalia, you said Asante Samuel. He is actually tied 21st. He's with a bunch of them there with 6 for his career. And oh gosh, Flynn. Wrong Woodson.
How many did Woodson have?
Charles Woodson had 11. The record holder is 12 pick sixes.
It's one away.
Rod Woodson.
Rod Woodson. Wow, he had 12.
Rod Woodson, 12 pick sixes in his career, playing for the Steelers, Niners, Ravens, and Raiders.
I said, do you have numbers for Darrell Green and Rondé Barber? Because those were the 2 I also put in consideration.
Okay, Rondé Barber, he has 8. He is tied with Eric Allen, Jack Rabbit Jenkins, and Charles Tillman. And who else did you say?
Darrell Green, a longtime Washington corner.
Darrell Green, 6.
Oh.
6 pick sixes for him. And right now, there's a bunch of them that have 5, including Deron Bland, who just got his 5th last week. So, Rod Woodson, 12 pick sixes. That is the answer for tonight's Tim's Tough Trivia. So, and speaking of, I'd give some points for an effort, but, going back to Robert Saleh and the way he benched Zach Wilson not once but twice.
I know where you're going with this, Tim.
Yeah.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Oh, I wasn't thinking of that.
You weren't thinking of that one?
No.
Hello? You play to win the game.
I was thinking of that because of the Jets.
Well, how could I miss the connection right there?
Yeah.
I missed the connection there. Oh, wait a minute. I added one more thing. Oh, what was it? It was the Giants game last week.
Yeah.
Where a guy missed a field goal. It just went right off to the left.
You
and didn't Belichick ice his own kicker?
I don't know, but when I saw that kick go to the left, Natalia, you're gonna love this. This is for whenever kickers miss so far left or so far right. It's almost like this.
Oh, jeez.
Oh yeah, you gotta love that Charlie Brown.
Yeah. So, but one thing I will say though about the Giants, with the win, I appreciate them not mailing it in because I don't thing is I didn't want John Mara duped into picking a new GM and head coach for not trying to win because it's different. With Shane Dable compared to Jerry Reese and Dave Gettleman and Pat Shrimber and Joe Judge, I just don't yeah, but
Oh well. But anyway, I digress. So I guess with that, that pretty much does it for this week. Another great show.
yeah.
We only got two more weeks in our season before the playoffs start. So where does the time go?
Yeah, and also Hooked on Sports. I'm gonna be recording my next episode tomorrow morning.
All right, so y'all watch for that coming out tomorrow. Hooked on Sports. We got the descriptions, or you just anywhere you find podcasts, look up Hooked on Sports. Most likely you'll find it. So you'll get some information right there. So, so any final comments?
No. Yeah, this is. Yeah, just can't believe how fast this season has gone. Yeah, before we know it, we'll be in Christmas week.
Yeah, it's starting to get there. Weather's getting warmer. I got the scarf on, got my eggnog on. And
yeah, this is our last show for November. Our next time we meet, we'll be in a new month.
Yep. And I'll tell you one thing, as far as the Cowboys are concerned, these next 5 games are either going to make them or break them.
Mm-hmm.
We'll kind of get into that next week. So, and of course, the week starts on Thursday with the Cowboys at home against the Seahawks on Prime Video. So, y'all check it out. So, that's it. That's our show for this week. Thank you all for joining us. Once again, thanks to my partners in crime, John Flynn, John Natale.
And also Adam Oliver for stopping in earlier.
Oh, of course, Mr. Oliver. Good to see him again. So I guess that's the show, y'all. So, so for John
I guess just
Flynn,
one more time for the buys so that everybody knows. It's the Giants, the Vikings, the Bills, the Bears, the Raiders, and the Ravens.
There you go. Those are your bye weeks. So drop those guys or bench them. Do whatever you got to. And we'll get with them. We'll get with them next week. And hopefully we'll get with all of you next week as well. Till then, for John Flynn, John Natale, and Adam Oliver, I'm Tim McClellan. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the games, everyone. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. God bless you. And as always, be a good sport. See ya.